So I'm here with Jamie O'Connell from the Student Room. Jamie, tell me a bit about yourself and what you do here.
I'm the marketing director at the Student Room, which is the largest student site in the UK and the world, actually. And we've been around about 7-8 years now. I've been involved for 3 approximately. When I started, I was directly involved in community moderation. And by that I mean working with the moderators on the site to moderate the site and keep the community happy and support our moderators. But more than anything, the most important aspect of my role is developing the website, growing the number of people who come there, developing the cool functionality, making it more usable, and that continues today. So we do an awful lot of consultation with our user base. So every single thing, whether it's tweaking the design of the website, adding new functionality, we consult with our users, which is a time-consuming process, but has worked very, very well for us. And we're quite a fortunate situation, really, in that we do have on tap this massive community, so we can just turn to them at any point and say, what do you think about this? So developing the site, supporting the community, supporting the moderators, working with my colleagues, getting the name of the Student Room out there is really what a big part of what I do as well. The site is enormous, but and it's been around for many years, but it's surprisingly still a fairly well-kept secret. If you're a student at school, in particular if you're looking to apply to university, you should and may well know about the Student Room. And we have 2.8 million unique users a month, so lots of people do know about us, but beyond the student population, mums, dads, teachers, government, we've got an awful lot of work still to be done in terms of that awareness.
And tell me a bit about the partners you work with. So what other external bodies, commercial bodies and government organisations do you tend to work with in the Student Room, and how do they get involved with you?
It's a fairly diverse group because the diversity of the content on the website, really. Primarily people come to the site in the first instance to get some support, some help with their academic career, some help with homework, for example, discussion on exam topics. So in that capacity we work with the exam boards in the UK, AQA, Edexcel, etc., who make sure our moderators work with them in particular to embargo discussion on exam topics up to a certain number of hours after an exam has been set, so that students in one part of the UK or internationally can't benefit from discussion that's going on online. And our moderators do an excellent job in enforcing that. So exam boards, we also work with non-profits, charitable organisations. I already mentioned our relationship with the Samaritans because of the breadth of serious discussion on the site by troubled young people who may have eating disorders, depression, self-harm, these sorts of things. So we recognise that in all cases peer-to-peer support isn't perhaps the best thing, and we refer those people on to the organisations that are better equipped to deal with them. We've worked with universities directly. Universities we have a close partnership with, looking to develop that. So universities use the Student Room to recruit undergraduate students, postgraduate students. We also have a relationship with government departments, so we've worked closely with BIS to develop some resources for mature students. Also we've talked to them and looked at ways that we can help provide a voice for young people, in particular students, to government and vice versa. So what do students think about government policy that affects their lives, and what sort of ideas they have, looking at how the Student Room could be that voice box for policy makers within government. We other organisations,
commercial brands.
Commercial brands, yes, of course. So on one hand, anyone from Red Bull would advertise with us to promote their products or their events that happen throughout the country. We have a good relationship with Apple, for example, who promote their higher education discount for laptops.
And tell me about sort of top tips. If you're a marketing manager, or if you're in an organisation looking to work with students via the student room, what would be your kind of top pieces of advice?
First of all, I'd say if you're interested in students, if you have any sort of product or service that is targeted at students, then you should be on the student room anyway, in a listening capacity to start with. If you come to the site and you enter into the site search a brand name or a service of some sort, then you'll be, I suspect your jaw will hit the floor, because you'll see how much discussion is going on about your product or service. And that's a starting point. That in itself should be very interesting for you, because you'll be able to see very directly what's being said about you, which may have implications for your product development, for your processes internally. We've got some interesting case studies of universities, for example, Warwick University, who actually adjusted some of their application procedures based upon feedback that they read about on the student room. The second stage of that could be through working with us. Come and talk to us about what you're looking to achieve, but it would be, you can actually get involved in that conversation, and there's all sorts of different ways that you can do that. If you wanted to, you can do some more research through the site. We have the numbers of students, we have the breadth of diversity of students, so regardless of whether it's mature students or 16 to 18 year olds that are relevant to your products or services, you can do a credibly sized survey amongst them, or focus group work amongst that demographic, to learn even more. And then if you then wish to communicate to that audience directly, you can, on one hand, or extreme, get directly involved in the conversation in an official advisor or official representative capacity. So we will set you up with a username, password on the site, flesh out your profile with you, video content, these sorts of things, and equip you to actually get into the forum yourself and start adding some value to the conversation. On the other hand, there's all sorts of opportunities for creating content hubs which add some value to the community, and that's, you can have a home on your brand, your service, your resources can have a special home on the student room, which we will promote and develop in conjunction with the community. So we'll consult with the community in the best way to achieve your aims and talk to you about it, and seed content, develop user-generated content in conjunction with the community that sort of builds a resource that is of value to the student audience, but also achieves your aims. So that's the ideal situation: advertising that works and actually brings value to the customer, and can be sustainable, and that it stays on the site and can grow and develop over time.
Brilliant. Thanks very much.